From the On Target Digital Marketing Podcasting Studios in sunny Orlando, Florida, it's the T-Squared Tech Talk Podcast with Tom Jelnick and Tom Craig. It's frickin' Friday. It's a T-Squared Tech Talk Podcast. I'm Tom, and I'm chugging down a buttload of coffee. I'm joined with...
the ever so angry Tom Craig.
He's angry.
I've not had the best week.
What's your problem, man?
We have been attacked.
You've been attacked.
I feel like we've all been attacked.
Tom, I got to step in. Nobody attacks my friend Tom.
Well, they did, Tom. They did.
Is Mountain Dew helping out?
Yeah. Well, we've had a lot of Mountain Dew this week, that's for sure, trying to battle the infiltrators.
The perps. I love that word.
Yep. And again, our favorite, the nefarious characters.
You know, Tom, I have managed to work the word nefarious into every single television appearance that I've been on for the last 2 months. And I do it as just for you, really.
That's awesome.
It's a personal challenge.
I got to say.
And I have to tell you, yesterday on Channel 13, I got a senator who was on the program to say the exact same word.
That's awesome.
I went home like I had just taken home the special trophy.
Yeah, well deserved.
I was so proud of myself.
Deserved.
It's the little things, Tom.
It is. It's the small wins, but and that's why I'm feeling a little bit better and not too much on the edge of my seat, because we did have some wins over the nefarious characters. But I'd like to tell you about that story if we could.
It is a story among stories, Tom, and I am so excited for our 24 listeners to hear it. You know, that number keeps growing, Tom. This program is cutting edge stuff at this point.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Thankfully, not bleeding edge, but absolutely cutting edge.
It's been called bleeding at some point.
Yeah, we're close. We're close.
We've been accused of bleeding.
Yeah.
Hemorrhaging, some might say.
Well, that's for sure. But
well, we both have bags under our eyes this week, man. So
it's been a long one.
It has been a long ass week, and
yes.
I don't usually say that word ass, but when I refer to Advanced System Solutions, Tom,
that's right.
It's all ass all the time.
You can always use that in my company.
I can really get behind that statement, Tom.
That's right. I appreciate that.
Hey, I'm here for you.
Right
I'll
on.
always be behind you.
See, you like I say, you're at 100%. When I'm just struggling over here.
Well, I'm here to support you.
Well,
I'll bring up the rear, Tom.
Well, and I'm here to make sure that you're supported as well, but not so much where people can hear and see, but more in the actions.
The actions, yes. Actions do speak louder than words, Tom. And, you texted me, I believe it was this weekend, that you and a customer of yours you face the ultimate challenge that any IT professional, especially those who sling Windows and work on PCs, encountered.
That's right.
Break it down, man.
It was kind of like the Iron Man of IT.
The Iron Man?
Yeah.
Like a triathlon?
Kind of like, but much less strenuous.
Right, sure.
But much more strenuous on the nerves, that's for sure. So what happened was, we had this new client. I did a walkthrough with them and saw their environment and noticed a few red flags and brought those up. And so we went ahead and scheduled that I would come back on over the weekend.
A lot of PCs here, I would assume.
A good amount. Yep.
Sure.
But we went back over the weekend to start our work, and we did some of our plans, and we got those accomplished, and we felt really good about it. We're feeling great, right?
Feeling like you're in a groove.
I tell you,
right, Tom?
it's like nobody can conquer us. We're at the top of our game.
You're invincible is what you are.
That's what we felt like, I tell you. But instead, what happened was we go in to log into some computers and test our work.
Were they Windows machines?
They were.
That's an important fact.
It is. It is on this one, that's for sure. But I'd also like to, we'll skip past that.
You were going to mention
digress.
Apple, weren't you?
I was going to say, this
You're
is
gonna
for
say,
everybody.
But none of the Apples
You
were
can't
affected.
just say that this is not Apple people related.
I can, Tom. I am your guest on this powerful podcast. We are here to shed light on all things and be real.
So what happened is we logged in and we see that ransomware has taken over. There's a note that says all your files have been taken by us.
Who's us?
Those nefarious characters out there on the interwebs, I tell you.
Interwebs, dangerous people.
They are. And apparently, so what happened was this company, rather large for the Orlando area,
sure,
had several servers and several workstations hit. And This happened when someone clicked on one of those notes that UPS has a delivery for you.
Oh, yeah, I've gotten those.
We all have, Tom, and sometimes they look really convincing. Unfortunately, they caught somebody who was having a busy day. They were expecting a package. They saw the UPS email, and they thought, you know what? This must be legit. Let me just look.
Oh, it's got the UPS logo on it, Tom.
Exactly.
It has to be legitimate.
Exactly. And it looks really good, so they clicked on it, and immediately they were infiltrated. And how we know this is we can see the hard drive activity spike on their computer.
Tom, there's nothing worse than getting penetrated by the UPS. What can Brown do for you?
See, I've got nothing on that one.
We should probably skip right past that, Tom.
We'll just glaze right on over that.
Just put that in a box and ship it.
There we are. See? You're bringing it, Tom. You're bringing it. But see, and again, you just throw me off. That's spot on. So what happens is we see that we've been infiltrated. The hard drive activity is spiking on one of the workstations. And then from there, in retrospect, of course, we can see that this was happening from workstation to workstation and up to the servers.
All the way up to HQ.
All the way up to the email server, Tom.
Was that a Windows NT box by any...
you saw that?
I did. I saw the CD.
I saw that, and when that kind of scared me. I was working on that back in 1992,
Tom. I remember that used to come with like 18 discs. It was one of those complex cases that it was like a damn accordion.
Unless you got the Pro set, then I think it was like 28 discs.
Oh, the Pro set,
ridiculous. You had to rubber band those into separate stacks because it was too tall.
Keep them labeled.
Yes,
disc 1, disc 18.
Yeah,
Nightmare in a box. That's pretty much what that was.
So because of older software and because of non-preventative maintenance maneuvers, no thinking ahead on this one. None at all. No antivirus, no nothing, and the key areas where it should be.
No antivirus, period.
None.
And this is corporate America right here.
This is corporate America. And even worse, this is for all you IT guys out there. Their employee had domain administrator privileges, meaning that this employee who was using his login for day-to-day activities had the keys to the kingdom. So once infiltrated, there was no need to escalate their privileges because they already had privileges for everything.
Interesting, Tom.
It was. You want to talk about fighting an uphill battle? It just kept getting better and better.
And by better and better, you mean down the crapper.
Oh, yeah. And like I say, they hit the email server, right? So, and then they got really smart and they hit the provider that holds the DNS records. Now, for those of you who don't know, that's where...
Geek speak.
Yep. When you have a domain name, such as Microsoft.com, the internet needs to know where to point to. And so for that...
Point that straight to hell.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I'm right there with you. And so we went to change those DNS records to a new mail server, thinking we're going to get ahead of the game here. But unfortunately, they had already figured out where our DNS records were held.
Right.
And they locked the account by too many incorrect tries. So the only way to release that is to have an email sent to you. But as I said, the email server was down. So we're in this endless loop of not being able to access anything in order to begin a restoration of this company's services.
Well, this sounds very well thought out and diabolical, too, if I might say, Tom.
Do you know that the makers of some of this ransomware in 2 years made over $6 million?
And they're telling you've got to pop in the bitcoins, right, to get the goods.
That's right. And what's even worse is there's no set amount. So if you're a company and you get hit by ransomware, as opposed to Granny down in the corner. Granny's going to have a couple pictures of the family reunion, and they might ask for, let's just say a few hundred, maybe $1,000 from her. But when they realize that they've locked up files from a corporation that include Excel files, database files,
HR files,
thank you, any with personally identifiable information, then the price goes shooting up.
Of course, they got you by the short hairs, Tom, am I right?
Absolutely do. And do you know one of the fines that was recently paid was noted at being $64,000?
And I think a couple of universities have actually fallen victim to this too, where these thugs and dirtbags and cockroaches.
And no laws against it. I know, but there's nothing we can do about it. We're overwhelmed. This happens once a day here in the States.
And so for all 18 of you listening, I'm sorry, it's up to 19. For all 19 of you listening, essentially what these buttholes do is they get your data and they encrypt it, they lock it up, and then they're requesting some cash money or Bitcoin, and they may or may not release those files, and they may decrypt those files so you can get them back.
And if they decrypt them for you, if they're so nice to do so, who's to say that the next day they might encrypt them again, meaning add a password, if you will, for lack of a better term, and request more money because now they know how valuable they are to you.
Right.
So it's really it's amazing how dirty these people are.
Tom, do you think we can encrypt the in-laws and sell them for Bitcoin ransom?
Tom, we would make a lot of money if we could figure that one out.
Can you imagine the network we'd have of all the in-laws that are just locked up in Bitcoin jail?
All I've got to say is go ahead and send me a UPS email right away once you figure that out.
Forward that on to Gertrude.
Click, click, click. Call me Mr. Clickety Click.
Yeah, clicky pants.
I tell you.
God knows those in-laws are the clickmeisters.
Boy, you know it. And they're the ones that we have to watch out for the most, the ones who click first. And that's really the heart of this discussion today is that people really need to be cognizant about what they're clicking on.
Yep.
Because if it's one thing to say don't open an email unless it's from somebody you know. But if it's something that catches your eye, like your bank name, you're waiting for a package that's been lost for a couple of days, you're anxiously waiting, you get an email from UPS, you're dying to see what it says, you need to stop and think. And that's what people don't do. They don't stop. And as we've said plenty of times, to hover their mouse or their cursor over the link to see where it's in fact going. Yeah.
So what happens, Tom, is you're super excited to get your autographed Bill Gates mug mailed to your doorstep, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting. You're excited. You're giddy with anticipation. And you get this bogus FedEx or UPS looking email, and you're, oh my goodness, my Bill Gates mug is on its way. I can't wait to drink copious amounts of Mountain Dew straight out of it and watch it crash in a million pieces. But anyway, you're clicking that because you're so excited to get that package, and then it's off to the races for these cyber thug cockroaches.
It is. And boy, I tell you, we would have really been out of luck. But during that first walkthrough I had mentioned, as I noticed some red flags, we went ahead and put our remote monitoring software on there. I did. And what that allowed us to do was to back up their data before we came in for that initial kickoff.
So the really interesting thing about this story that you were sharing with me is that these folks really didn't even know they had a problem. This is like your first day with this company, am I right?
That's right. It happened 7 hours after I walked in 7 hours before we walked in the door, and we were doing tests on their network to increase the speeds.
Sure.
And we found out...
playing with latency, were you not, Tom?
We were. That's, for all you geekers out there, we were having issues with the connectivity between the server and workstations and everything in the internet. Right. Come to find out, it was all due to a Cat5 cable being used on the backbone of their network.
As opposed to a
Cat5e, Cat6, Cat7, anything but Cat5. I tell you, cat out of the bag, cat on a hot tin roof. I'd have taken anything over that Cat5. But that's what it was, and that was limiting.
Chicken, Tom. Do you know that?
What's that?
Cats.
They what?
It tastes like chicken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're the other white meat.
No, serve me up a serving if you would.
Oh yeah, we'll fondue that. I mean, sesame, whatever. It's delicious.
All complaints can be emailed to Tom Jelnick at.
Man.
So
I love cats. They're delicious.
Yeah, exactly. I got nothing for that, Tom.
All right, back to our Cat5 discussion, Tom, and our backbone.
So we, as we were saying, we were there to test speeds.
Right.
We test the speeds. We see them, as I was saying earlier, we see them going, boy, we figured out the problem. We're the king of the world. I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio at the front of the ship.
You're out there.
That's me.
Arms outspread.
That's it. And, and then you log in and you get that note. And it was just horrible.
And it's like you ran into an iceberg, am I right?
That's and sunk quicker than you could imagine.
Yeah.
Sunk faster than the Titanic for sure.
Did you let the girl sink too, or was she still on the iceberg?
Just kind
of holding on and
everyone for themselves, Tom.
Oh yeah.
It's in this day and age, there's no every man it's everyone for themselves.
Every person.
That's right. There we go.
That's the kind of program we are here, Tom. Right. All inclusive.
Not just people, Tom. No, everything for themselves.
Everything, everybody.
Itself.
Yeah,
we're going to take a long time to get that one down. We'll work on that later, but no. So all that to say, had we not done that cloud-based backup before, we would have certainly been up the creek without a paddle.
What kind of creek, Tom?
Well, I think you know, Tom, it's Ship Creek.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we'd be right up Ship Creek, and with no paddle, no motor, not a single luxury.
What can Brown do for you once again?
Exactly. So it's important that people know about ransomware, that the danger that they can completely cripple their entire organization by one click of the mouse.
So, Tom, you're setting up a new business. You're setting up a new network. Maybe one of our listeners is a business owner or an IT professional, God willing, and we hope. I mean, I know there's all kinds of folks that listen to this program. But if you're setting one up, what's the best piece of advice you can give them right from the get-go so they don't even have this problem with ransomware?
So the problem with this is when somebody clicks on that link, it's going to go across the network all in the segment. So everything within the same 192.168.0.x segment is going to be infected. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you put your servers in a different segment.
Okay.
You want to make sure you put your finance department in a different segment. The critical areas of your business should be separated. So that's what we did to be a little bit more proactive going forward with this organization. Was the first thing we did was we created that other segment. We moved the servers into that segment and created the rules that only certain traffic on certain ports are allowed to go from segment to segment, therefore blocking any other applications that try to jump through that or traverse from those segments.
Sure. So you'd put like maybe your QuickBooks data or your financial data on one server and segment that out off the network.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That
So that way, if somebody should click on something in another department, that it won't infect the serious departments. And you know, usually the finance department has a little bit more strict rules as to what they're opening on their computers than per se somebody in the IT department, because we click on everything.
Clicky McClick pants.
That's us. Yeah. That's us. So yeah, it's about becoming cognizant of the danger of these emails and the amount of destruction that can happen. Because as I said, it's once a day that it happens to organizations, and a lot of people, it's surprising, still don't understand the concept and the impact that ransomware has on our society today.
It just freaking sucks, is what it
does.
So here's another thing. I would strongly advise, and you said that this particular company didn't even have antivirus software, and a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times that antivirus software can actually catch those malicious, nefarious emails before they even get into the inbox and eradicate them. So
that's true. So
I mean, you got to do that.
And what you need to do is set a policy that it's not just, oh yes, every computer has to have antivirus, because then you'll end up with type A on this computer, type B on that computer. And
type A personalities.
Yep, exactly. So what you want to do is set a standard that says, we are going to use the following antivirus on every computer that comes into this organization.
Right.
And that way people know when it comes in, oh, well, have you done A, B, and C to that yet? Because that's our policy.
Right.
So as much as it stinks to sit down and have to write and create these policies and procedures, this is exactly wise, because a computer can be overlooked in the rush to stand it up and roll it out to the masses.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times the UPS has dropped off brand new shiny Macs here, and I just can't wait to tear into those suckers and get them lit up and rocking and rolling, because let's face it, Tom, I mean, it's a superior product.
It is. It's a superior product to UPS email. You are absolutely right.
Oof.
But
yeah, in our excitement,
yes,
sometimes we just we want to get right down to work. But you're right. You've got to set up a process by which each machine is protected. So this is how we do it here. It's step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it just goes lengths, a really long way when you do things like that, because not only are you setting that standard, but now you started the whole thought process, and once you're talking about security, the more people around you that hear it, the more people that we can beat into their brains not to click on these emails, then the safer we all are. and the safer our companies are as well. So
it is really amazing the length that these cyber cockroaches. That's my new one. I like that, cyber cockroaches. Do you like?
Goes well.
Right. So that's the length, a level of sophistication that they're putting into these spoofed type emails, and in the space we call it phishing.
Yep.
But man, they know that maybe 80% of all bank users are, let's say, pick on SunTrust or, so it's a rule of numbers thing. They're just sending these all out, hoping that they catch your eye. And unfortunately, a lot of times, I'm not going to lie, they look extremely authentic.
They do. It's happened to the best of us. And although it's easy to blame that employee we were talking about who clicked on it, that employee absolutely, in my mind, that employee has absolutely no blame to bear whatsoever. It is the fault of the company for the lack of security procedures, for the lack of policies for antivirus, for the giving him of the keys to the kingdom.
Right.
It's whoever set all that up and set all that into place. That's where the blame lies. And that's the people who are running the organization. Let's
face it, we're all going to click something by accident because, the more and more prevalent that this becomes, the more attempts there's going to be, and something's going to slip through the cracks. But if you have conversations with your team members, your employees, the janitor, whatever, whoever has access to these crappy PCs, you've got to be able to tell them, hey, you got to be on the lookout for this stuff,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that reminds me.
What do you got?
I think if we reached in deep.
Are we going into the mail sack, Tom?
It's that time. I think we've got a good one today. I was happy with this.
It is hot in the mail sack. Let's pull out. Who do we have? We have Mike from Odessa.
Okay, Mike in Odessa.
Mike, how the heck are you, man?
Yep. So Mike's letter today was in regards to ransomware.
Where is Odessa?
I don't even know. Is it a fictional place, Tom?
Is that deep in the heart of Texas, Tom?
It may be. It may be.
Odessa,
that's about
Texas.
How far. It sounds like a world away to me.
I see oil rigs and petroleum, and I see those tumbleweeds and cacti.
That sounds like the Odessa I know, Tom.
Yeah. So what did Mike write in about
Mike
today?
wanted to know, what is the best way to bring up this topic of conversation within the office place and to help them be a little bit more secure? I know we had talked about this before in some of our other podcasts about making sure that we talk about this topic of conversation within the office. And Mike, I think one of the best ways to go about this is to visit SANS, that's SANS. They have a plethora of security information there for you to share with your coworkers or your employees, including posters about security, about phishing, about
like salmon fishing, Tom?
We could only be so lucky. There'd be much better pictures and a lot more entertaining. But no, the phishing we were talking about, we're trying to draw that information out from somebody.
Sure.
So these, when you walk into a company in the break room, usually you'll see on the bulletin board that posters about workers' compensation.
Oh, yeah, it's a lady with the busted up arm with the cast.
Everybody's got that poster,
Do your team members go in and sign that with smart alecky signatures?
Ours has a mustache, I'm going to have to be honest.
Yeah, so does ours. Yeah.
But what you don't see next to that very often is one of these free posters that SANS provides. They provide plenty of great information that's very easy for everyone to understand, and if posted into areas like the break room, then people see that security poster. They talk about that security poster, therefore increasing your security posture.
Okay, so you're saying build awareness by slapping some posters around. You know what I would do, Tom?
What's that?
I'd pull them all, sit them into a room, and publicly beat each and every one of them that ever clicks on one of those damn emails.
You know what?
Trial by you get an iron fist.
That's when I just want to bring the presidents and the IT directors into the room who have created these lax environments for these people because it's easy to blame the little guy.
Sure, and flog them.
Yep, but it's actually the big guy who didn't want to put the money towards the firewall, who didn't want to implement security procedures, who didn't want to roll out a corporate antivirus platform because it's just too expensive.
And this is why we can't have nice things,
Absolutely.
Tom.
But we can. You know why?
Why?
Because we back it up.
Because Advanced System Solutions has your back. Am I right?
That's right. That's spot on, Tom.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's it. So, Mike, I hope that answers your question all the way out there in Odessa, wherever that may be.
And Mike, you want to stay clear of that liquid black gold I hear that gets in your hair and gets kind of messy.
I don't know. Judd Clampett certainly did do something with it.
Texas tea.
Yeah, it sent him all the way out west, Tom.
Wow, Tom, I can't believe you went through this, my friend.
Well, you know what? It's the end of the week, and I'm happy to say that we got back 100% of their financial data, which is the big part, and everybody got their paycheck this week. So
that's brilliant. Did you get a paycheck? You're going to get a paycheck.
IT guy is always the last guy to get a paycheck, Tom. I can tell you that right now.
But you're there protecting them.
Yeah,
Tom.
Paycheck or not.
You're like the Vault.
We're there.
You're like Thor.
I feel like a zombie at this point. More than Thor. More zombie-like, less locks of blonde hair and big muscles. More death and stench.
You're a muscular guy, Tom.
Not this week, Tom.
No.
I feel like the floor of the theater. So anyway,
okay, then.
Tom, I just want to wrap this up by saying, Mike, let us know where Odessa is. I'd love to send my in-laws there.
That would be great. Can we send them on like a one-way?
I'm thinking it's some unknown place that's got to be unreachable. So
yeah, like God's, it's just out there. It's like God's waiting room out there in Odessa. You just go hang out there, spend some time, drink some black tea,
You guys are going to love it. Have fun.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's nice front porches. There's tumbleweeds. It's 124 degrees year-round.
Yep.
It's warm.
So, Mike, let us know where we can send them, please.
Yeah, with one way.
Amen.
So listen, this was a great show, Tom, and I hope the takeaway here is, guys, listen, antivirus software is your friend. Back stuff up. Be really, really smart about your network, whether it's your home network, your business network. Keep the really important stuff separated. Stay the hell away from these cyber cockroaches.
If only we could squash them with our shoes.
Just squash them.
I'd be all over it.
And watch out for those UPS bogus emails and stay safe out there, man. This cyber
a dangerous world.
It's creepy. It's challenging. Obviously, there's some amazing things on the internet, right? But we want you to know we're here for you.
Absolutely. Most importantly, we're here for everybody as well. So let them know. Talk about security.
It's okay to talk about it, Tom.
That's right. It no longer needs to be kept in the closet. Yeah. It needs to come out, Tom.
Yeah. Okay, Tom Cruise. All right.
All right. On that note,
well, listen, Tom. Where can people get more information about what you do and how you can keep them safe?
We are at advancedsystemsolutions.com. And yourself, Tom, when people want to know how to make themselves known on the world to the rest of everybody, how can they get a hold of you?
If you want to get your brand found and get your business seen, you want to go to ontargetdigitalmarketing.com. We'd be happy to get to know your brand and what makes you tick. But Tom, until next time, this was a wonderful talk. I feel warm and fuzzy inside now. I feel so much better. I feel rejuvenated from the week just having this time with you.
I feel a lot better than I did this beginning of this week. That's for sure.
So we might light some candles here and play some Kumbaya.
I'm feeling it.
But hey, until next time, folks, thank you so much for listening to the T Squared Tech Talk podcast. I'm Tom.
Tom here as well.
Have a great weekend.
This podcast was recorded at the On Target Podcasting Studio.